are we doing? We are going to talk about the Dental Sleep MBA 4-year membership program, which honestly might be changing to a 5-year program, but as of this recording, and today is June 25th, 2019, so if you're watching this video is still relevant. We are talking about the membership of Dental Sleep MBA, which right now is a 4-year program, and we're thinking of switching to a 5-year program. And I get asked this question all the time: what does that mean? 4 years? I have to commit to this for 4 years? I have to commit to this for 5 years? And the answer really is more like you have to commit to this. This is something that you're either going to commit to and do or not do. Sleep is not something you can just dip your toe in the water in. You have to either understand it, which takes a lot of work. Once you understand it, you're good. You get put the right team in place. Everything kind of gets done for you. So remember, in dental school, you had to go through 4 years of, in my opinion, horrible training that was so rigorous, training that had things to do with nothing that we used. Physiology, histology, biochemistry. I mean, how often do you use that in your daily life? This, on the other hand, is a program that you do need to learn. You have not been taught this stuff here, and I am not talking about the science. The science that is relevant in sleep. Like if we took the science that was relevant in dentistry, how long would we have gone to school for? Certainly not that long. The science that is relevant to treating sleep apnea patients is a few hours long. The business part of it, on the other hand, you really need to learn and really need to master. So 4 or 5 years, why? We're looking to build programs that are sellable. If you're going to get into any business, you need to understand an exit strategy. Right? If you go into the business, you need to know how you're going to get out of the business. This is not necessarily dental thinking. Dental thinking is, well, I'm going to spend whatever it takes to become a dentist, $300,000 about when I graduated in 1998, versus almost double that if you're graduating today. Pretty big investment to do what? To pass dental school and have the right to take a test that allows you to be a dentist in a certain area. And then you have to apply for state licensure, and that could be taken away any of time. Trust me, if you know my story, I certainly had my deal with the dental board. Luckily, by the time they tried to take any control of my life, I was so entrenched in the world of sleep, I don't need a license. So I went to dental school, and it did get me where I am today, but it wasn't necessary. If I had thought of it this way, if I had thought of the sleep business this way, I could have done the whole thing without it. And if I had taken my investment in dental school and the investment in time, supplies, all of it, this would have been a much better road to just come straight to this and learn it. So learning the business of sleep apnea is important. The exit strategy: create a company you can sell. In dental school, you're taught you can, or you should, graduate, go join your state dental association, go to your state meetings, go join the ADA, start to learn some extra CE procedures you can add, and that's a typical path of a dentist. Dentists then buy a practice. Buying a practice comes with nothing usually. A patient list of patients that may or may not stay, may or may not connect with you, usually some old equipment, facility. If the equipment's newer, you're still paying the same for that practice. So you go into dentistry knowing you have to buy a practice, and that's an investment, and then hopefully one day you'll sell the practice, maybe for more or less than you bought it for, who knows. Either way, we all know that dentistry is a profession where, hey, you do get to set your own hours, but they certainly didn't go through staff drama. That should be a course taught in dental school. The business of dentistry should be taught in dental school. Marketing should be taught in dental school. How to lead should be taught in dental school. All these different things that are required to run a practice on a daily basis. And overhead control should be something that's done in dental school. And I will tell you what, if they really wanted to make it fair, there should be a group of people that is in charge of how you spend your money, because most dentists don't necessarily think things through from a numbers perspective. I'm talking about an actual return on investment perspective before they go into anything. For example, a CEREC machine, which I had and I loved, but looking back on it, my God, was that a money waste. My return on my investment was negative. My CT scan, oh my gosh, was that a negative return on investment. I could do implants without owning a CT scan. It's called sending a patient out and getting a 3D image by somebody else. all of these things that we spend money on in the world of dentistry usually have a negative ROI attached to them, and I'll go through that with you more. On the other hand, sleep is a business that if you know and understand the system, you can plug it in anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. It's funny, I was just speaking with one of our members, and I was adamantly told there are no independent physicians in my area. There's only hospitals and mega groups. We have a way of determining a list of and getting all the independent physicians. And I said, I'll bet you $20 right now that we find over 100 independents in your area. No way, you're on. So ran the list, 186 physicians. They're like, yeah, you were right. Anyways, this business, when you understand and know it, can be built anywhere, can be sold anywhere, and in the process you are making a lot of money. In the process you are changing and shaping lives. In the process you're doing a business that does not require you to be tied to a dental chair. Frankly, it's a wonderful business, and one which I think you will grow to love if you do it the right way. So what's reasonable to expect in this 4 or 5 years of time? Let's build a company that over those 4 or 5 years is going to generate at least $2 million in revenue, $500,000 a year, and that's at the bare bones. Let's get you an ROI, total money put into this business versus out in a 4-year period of 10 to 1. And at that point, you'll own a company, whether it's at 4 or 5 years, that you can sell for 3, 5, 10 times X. So $1 million sleep business, as opposed to a dental practice, can be sold for 3 to 5, 10 million, as opposed to $1 million dental practice, which gets sold for 700,000. Staggering difference. This is a business that is scalable, grows, set up right. It grows because of you, but not necessarily because you're doing more or harder work, just slightly different. Your perspective changes, what you do changes. These are the way this thing works. So let's get to it. What is included in this membership? We have a system. This system works everywhere. How do we know? We've perfected it. I started consulting with dentists in the sleep world in 2012. In 2016, I built the International Academy of Sleep. This was my first solo venture. And I really, over that time of consulting, really started to figure out how I could work with dentists in a better way. Consulting and 1-year consulting programs, that's not a program that really works. There's not necessarily a commitment on the end of that dentist. On the other hand, when you say, hey, I'm going into this for 4 or 5 years, you are committed to go and do this and work at it and work at it and work at it, and it's a wonderful thing. Now, this system is different. It's not the typical system that's in the world of dentistry or even in the world of business. So because the system is different and because it is full of things that a dentist is not used to doing, we provide support to that system. So as you're doing this system, you start to understand everything that you need to do to make this business sustainable, scalable, profitable. And when you run, not if, when you run into problems, you are going to have a support system here that will take you through the whole process. So we have a system and we're going to support it. Now, when we talk about support, what does that mean? Support in this is not typical consulting support. I've been part of many consulting programs when I was a dentist. I am not a dentist anymore. Now I am an entrepreneur in the healthcare world. And I don't have anybody call me doctor because it's not relevant to me. I work in the business world. When I was a dentist and doing consulting, I was paying somewhere around $75,000 a year. And for that, I would get 1 call per month for 15 minutes where I would have no idea what to ask. What am I supposed to do on this 15-minute call? Guide me, please. And then we would go ahead and go to their meetings or their annual meetings or their twice-a-year meetings, meet other people, and hope that this worked out. It wasn't a really good way for us to succeed. It really wasn't a great way for us to actually build a business. I mean, I'm sure there are good consultants out there. I'm sure they could help a lot of dentists. But coming in and just evaluating a business and telling people what to do doesn't necessarily help a business grow. People wanted to be their own boss. Maybe they were prepared for it, maybe they weren't. And just a staggering statistic, only 50% of dentists are business owners at that point. That's staggering to me. When we say support, we're talking about intensive support, the type of support where we are part of your daily lives. So daily, we have a chat group that asks questions, get answers to questions, and we have 2 scheduled weekly calls. One we're going to call strategy, and one we're going to call accountability. The strategy is with a current member, somebody who's already successful in the world of dental sleep, and they're going to guide you through exactly the steps that they went through. They've mastered those steps, so they can teach you those steps. And the strategy is part of the Dental Sleep MBA program team, the IAOS team that's going to help and make sure that you are implementing all the strategies that are given. So when we say support calls, we are actually giving you guided support. Here's what I need you to do this week. Please get this stuff done. And then another call that says, hey, did you get that stuff done that Dr. So-and-so asked you to do? If not, why? Let's talk it through. So we are going to guide you through this on a weekly basis. You will not be left alone. It's a really good feeling to know that you have support in this business. When I started this business, there was no model to follow. We created it. After we created it, there was no support. It's like, all right, let's figure this out as we go along. This is now just a system that can plug and play anywhere. On our daily guidance, right now we're using a whole mishmash of things. We're putting this all together, so we have a chat group here, we have videos there, we have documents there, we have emails here, you can text, you can have phone call emergencies. But we're putting this all together in one really neat package that will be the Dental Sleep MBA app that you will get to partake in, provided you become a member of our group. And this app has everything on there, all the videos you need to watch. You'll be notified when a new one's uploaded. All the supporting documents will be able to find it easy. You'll be able to chat with other members of your group just by the click of a button. It's really a neat thing that we've been working on for a long time and are really excited to put into play. So daily, you can get answers to any question anytime. If you're not getting the answer you're looking for on the chat group, you call up the main office, take you through it there. I will announce the main office number here because you're probably going to need it at some point. That number is 908-258-0341. Claudia will answer the phone, and Claudia will take you through what needs to be done. What else are we talking about when it comes to support? Now, if you've watched this and started to understand the legalities, you know that there's at least 3 documents that are needed to do this business properly. To do this business, you need to understand the laws, you need to be able to explain the laws properly to a doctor, and you need to confidently say, this is why this is not a Stark violation. This is why this is not a kickback violation. Everything that comes with that. When you get audited, and if you're watching this, I'm going to give you a wish that sounds strange. I hope you get audited by Medicare. I hope you get audited by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Why? They don't care if you're doing 1 appliance a month. But when you're doing 20 and they're sending you checks that are in 6 figures, that definitely would require an audit. If I was the one in charge of it, I'd say, wow, that person's doing a lot. Let's make sure they're doing things right. Audits are meant to find you doing things wrong. You need to make sure you're doing things right. There's 3 documents that you need in order to do this. A contract for you to work with physicians, a legal opinion saying everything in that contract is legal, and a fair market valuation, FMV, that shows you that everything that you've done and the fees that you're charging are fair. Without those 3 documents, don't do this business. Just treat your own patients. But if you're going to be working with physicians in the way that we want you to work with physicians, when you are in charge of this whole program, that's what we're looking for. So we have the support that you need to feel comfortable legally. Now, one of the things that people do when they come to our course, which honestly staggers my mind, they take this to a lawyer, not necessarily understanding what needs to be done. They say, I don't know, does this sound legal to you? And somebody who's not well versed enough is explaining it to a lawyer, meaning someone who took the course, and then not able to answer the lawyer's questions, and the lawyers want to get on the phone and see our contracts. That's not something we do. That's something we do for members. But we have literally put millions of dollars into legal support to make sure that every member we have is current and covered. That's what we're talking about by legal documentation. If you are going to do this on your own, get a physician contract, a contract that shows what you are doing with physicians. Get a legal opinion, a good one from a healthcare attorney that's respected, and that healthcare attorney is going to stand up for you in court, so it better be a good one. And a fair market valuation by a healthcare accountant. Those fair market values cost in the neighborhood of 50 to 100 grand. They're not cheap, and they're very difficult when you go through them. Those 3 documents will be yours, as are any other document you need as part of the membership of this group. There's more support, because this requires a team. It requires a big team, actually. So it starts off small. Everything in business starts small. When I started my dental practice, it was me and an assistant. We would stop in the middle of a procedure to answer the phone, take off the gloves, hello, hello. Crazy, right? But the team grew. Over time, we had multiple front desk people, multiple hygienists, multiple assistants, billing coordinators, you name it. So that's what we had in the dental office, but it started small. You're going to start small here too. But eventually, you're going to have a salesperson. Eventually, you're going to have a head of operations, a head of referrals, a head of billing. All of these pieces need to be put into place. We will help support and train that staff. Sales training, of course. Sleep coordinator training. We've talked about sleep coordinator training, a must. Staff training, a must. In addition, we will fly out to your office at least once when it's needed. You don't want this to be at the beginning. You don't want this to be a come teach my staff type of thing, because you're going to want us there when you have a meeting that's set up that's a big meeting. A meeting with the large hospital, the large mega group, something that gets you through understanding how to run a big meeting. So when we are supporting you, it's not just you, we're supporting your staff. There is a full-time devoted person here to answer staff questions that you could ask at any time. Staff is able to set up support calls as well. This is a team effort. Doesn't get done by yourself, guys. One of the things that we've learned over the years is there has to be a uniform teaching, and it has to be done at a different pace for everyone. Some people learn and can absorb a lot of material at once. Some people need extra time. To that end, we've taken what we call an online learning management system, which teaches every facet of our program and put it on video. We've put it in sequential order. Each thing is broken down. In order to go from level 1 to level 2, you must pass a test. This is obviously because we want you to know this program. The line that I've always used is, I want you to know this program so well that it's coming out of your pores. You should be able to talk it to anytime, anyone, anywhere, and be the most knowledgeable person in the room. So we have an online learning management system. It lets you learn this at your pace. It lets your staff learn it at their own pace. Some people go really quick. We've seen people go through our whole system and learn it in 6 weeks. We've seen people take close to a year. It all depends on your speed and how much time you're willing to put in. Rinse, repeat, by the way. The more you know it, the better you do. In addition, you're going to want to see what a really successful business looks like. And to me, no one has done a better job when it comes to putting together a team and a successful business than Brandon Hedgecott. Brandon is in Austin, Texas. Brandon has an amazing team. All those little pieces I said, but hearing it is one thing, seeing it is another. Now, when you join, you get the opportunity for you and a key staff member to go to Austin, Texas to watch Brandon's practice in action. It is really becomes essential for you to see this as part of what you're doing. So when I got my first CEREC machine, I learned the basics at a course, went home, tried it out on a patient, and my crowns were terrible. I did 5 to 10 of those. Of course, I ended up having to redo all of them because they were really terrible. And then I went ahead and took another course. That second course meant something to me because I had some practical hands-on experience now with the CEREC. So the advanced course meant something to me. When you go to Brandon's office, we want this to mean something to you. We want this to be something where you can picture this and how this fits into your office. Without the experience of coming to a couple of retreats, without the experience of finishing the online learning management system, this won't mean as much to you as it should. So there are requirements for you to go there. Usually people go there somewhere after 9 months of membership, 12 months of membership, and then you go see what it's like, because then you start getting ideas of how to improve your business. You're not just looking at how to build it from scratch, but how to improve your business. We go pretty quick on this stuff. We are able to do a quick set webinar for your entire staff just to get everybody on the same page. That's usually an hour long. We also do monthly webinars, so on some subject. Sometimes it's just general Q&A, but it's usually on some subject to get you guys going, motivated when you're not there. You know, there's a continuing education high that happens when you're at a course. It happens at every course. You leave that course and you are positive that you're going to institute this in your practice, and yet you go home and it starts to fizzle. The monthly webinars are meant as a way to help keep you motivated during that time. Now, we've talked about sleep as a different business. Sleep is not something that you can just do as an additive procedure. It's why everyone fails at it. They go to a course, they try adding it to what they do, and then they lose. On the other hand, we're talking about forming different entities for this, specifically at least 2. So the third one would be if you worked with other dentists. That's only relevant if you're a member already, and we think that's a way that makes sense for you. We'll explain it to you in detail, but it's not necessarily the way for you to go. If you're working with physicians, on the other hand, you need 2 entities. One is called a management program, one's a treatment program. The management program does everything that it takes to create patients. The treatment program just treats patients. We want you to form brand new entities. You have to form them the right way. If you have not formed them the right way, you're not doing this the right way. So we used to have step-by-step instructions for you on how to create your own companies. We now just say, hey, we can do this for you. Give us a credit card, we'll put it on file, we'll charge all the state fees on this. If you want it quicker, we can get it done on a rush fee. But we want you to be able to form your corporations easily without thinking it through. We will help you form your corporations. That's one of the first steps you're going to do. There's other revenue sources that come with doing this. We talk about that later. We refer you to really good billing companies at billing rates. We have discounts on every single product that is relevant to sleep. Every single product. On the other hand, we have one thing that makes our membership worth it right away, and that is access to our telemedicine portal and home sleep test system that you can take into your office. And the telemedicine has been a game changer for us. It used to be a patient would go into your office and you'd talk to them about a consult, then you'd have to send them out. Talk to a patient, send them out, hope they come back. That's a difficult thing, guys. On the other hand, what if you were able to see a patient in your office, say you need a sleep study, I need you to go into the consult room and do a face-to-face with one of our doctors, on demand. We have a stable of doctors that works with us. You could go in, watch, and have their patient do a face-to-face, an actual face-to-face on the computer, where the physician will evaluate that patient and order a home sleep test. Remember, in order to get paid for these, a physician needs to do a face-to-face and order the home sleep test. The home sleep test cannot belong to you. It has to belong to a doctor or a third party. There's ways of you utilizing that for them. We talk about that in detail as membership comes along. But imagine a patient comes into your office for hygiene and leaves with a legally prescribed home sleep test. You cut out 2 or 3 difficult steps that usually led to failure. There was one period where I decided I'm going to take 3 months worth of advertising. My usual advertisements used to be for implants and full mouth rehabs. I decided, you know what, for 3 months, all I'm going to do is advertise for sleep. Took our entire budget, put it towards sleep advertising. We got a lot of patients in the door. It turned into 3 patients, like 100 leads, 3 patients, because as soon as a patient came in, we had to send them out, and they just met us. They weren't trusting us. They thought, I thought there was something we could do here. I don't want to have to go to this place and that place and that place and that place. And even if you do, if you have no control over that doctor, no say in that doctor, you're not anywhere. Our telemedicine portal has changed that for our members and will change it for you. Now, I talked about the continuing education high of being motivated. We hold what we call quarterly retreats. The quarterly retreats are everything for our members. The quarterly retreats are so important because you need to be reminded why you're doing this to begin with. You also get to meet some of the best people I've ever met. One of the most amazing things, probably the most amazing thing that's come out of this, let alone the fact that as a group we've saved thousands of lives, extended lives, 8 years on average. An untreated sleep patient versus a treated sleep apnea patient lives 8 years longer. That's a staggering statistic, guys. But we want you to feel that same level of excitement 4 times a year, because right around that 3-month mark, things start to wear off. We have quarterly retreats. The locations are voted on by the members. We're going to be in Orlando in July. If you're watching this and it's past July, you missed Orlando. We are in New Orleans for Halloween. That's the best place to be for Halloween. You're looking at a guy, by the way, who hates parties. I am the last person who ever wants to go to a party. However, I have grown to love our parties because it's such a family. This group has been the most incredible experience of my life, bringing incredible people together. People who are caring and passionate and supportive of one another. I've never seen anything like it in dentistry. It's the most incredible group that I've seen. I'm not saying it because it's the group that I'm in. Not saying it was always the case either, but right now this is the most incredible, passionate, caring, loving, supportive group that you will ever be around. And you get to hang out with these same people every 3 months at a cool location. In January, we're going on a cruise as a group. How incredible is that? There are going to be some amazing things that are coming, specifically for our members. Usually we use these retreats to refresh everyone, to get together and laugh and have a good time, to learn, to motivate. When you leave these retreats, you will be going home ready to just slay it in your practice. And I can't say enough about them. The retreats are everything. The formula that we say that works is the following: 2 phone calls a week, 4 hours, a minimum of 4 hours of documented work on the business. That does not include patient time, and attendance at these retreats. That is the winning formula to building a successful sleep business. A successful sleep business is one where you see 20 patients or more every single month.